Hey guys, Pete here, HVAC Greatness. If you are in the heating and air conditioning business, or about to go into it, or have been for years, I'm getting ready to describe something to you that you've been struggling with for years, or you're currently struggling with, or you definitely will be struggling in the near future if you're not aware of what I'm about to share with you. Well, stick with me through the parts where you think, well, Pete, I already knew that, all the way to the end, because I'm going to share some things that will probably turn some lights on that weren't on before. Okay, guys, so let me share this quote with you from Sun Tzu. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. Guys, Sun Tzu was a famous warrior, and he wrote a book called The Art of War. A lot of interesting information in there, but the key takeaway is even though we're not at war, you do have to consider a strategy. And while technically your competitors aren't your enemy, they are similar in a lot of our areas. And there's one part that we really need to consider, and that is your customers. If you don't know the difference between customers, and there is a difference, then you owe it to yourself to learn as much as possible about the customers in your area. Who is it that you want to go to work and do more work for? Who is it that you want to avoid and not do any work for? What do the people who you desire to work for have in common? Where do they live? What is their common zip code? So I had a kid reach out to me just yesterday, in fact, and he was looking for a little bit of help, and he had just started his business. And I remember back to myself, and he fortunately asked somebody who knew, who'd already been there, was about to make the same mistake that I did. He was going to set up business where he happened to live, and we did a real quick demographic study of what the market potential was in that area, and it quickly became obvious that he did not want to do business there. He needed to go over into a better market and do business there. And there's still more research to be done. I mean, if you're going to win the war before you go into battle, you need to know all of these things. And so one of the things that you're going to have to realize is that if you don't stand out to the right kind of customers for the right reasons, you're really not at an advantage. You see, when you run your advertising and those customers reach out to you, you know why they're responding to you? Because you do heating and air. You see, those types of people that are going in blindly and just looking for a heating and air conditioning contractor, they lump you in the same basket as everybody else. But did you know that the high-end customers, the customers that are experienced, the customers that have been burned a time or two, they won't respond to your ad. This is why those leads that are coming in are not that great. It's because you're attracting the wrong type of people. As we live in the information age, why not take advantage? Why not do a little bit of work? Why not do a little bit of research? Why not study what you're doing now and getting right? I'm sure you're getting plenty right if you've been in the game long enough, and figure out where you're missing out for bigger opportunities and possibly what you're doing wrong. Let's look at another quote here. If you can't clearly explain what makes your HVAC services better than your competition, how can you expect your team to? Better yet, how can you expect your customers to see that you're any better? I mean, why should you be any better than everybody else? They have the same license that you, maybe the same insurance, maybe the same level of experience. Why should they choose you? And it's not until you deep dive and figure out who you want to be known for in your market that you're able to clearly stand out. In other words, you need a positioning strategy, not just a marketing strategy. I remember reading this one years ago when I started reading business books back in the 90s. And it goes like this: people may spend their whole lives climbing the ladder of success only to find, once they reach the top, that the ladder is leaning on the wrong wall, or the wrong building, or the wrong market, or the wrong business identity. Guys, I know you work hard, but hard work and good work isn't enough anymore. We are in a game of attention, and you have to get the right type of attention. We are in a game of judgment, reputation. You need to reverse engineer and design the reputation and be judged for what you want to be judged for. In short, you need to determine what it is that you want to be known for in your market above and beyond just heating and air conditioning like everybody else. Once you've done that, you need to package yourself in a very professional, top shelf level way in order for people to perceive that. It's like what we said, if you don't know what makes you special, how in the world can you convey it to your customers? Consider a couple of statistics here. Companies see a 2 to 3x increase. That's 2 to 3 times the results in market share after a strategic rebrand and improved brand positioning. Now, let me stop at this point and make it really clear. I stand in harsh contrast with just coming up with a pretty brand. That is only part of the battle. And the reason that's worked in the past is because your competition historically has just been terrible at branding their companies. So all you had to do is clean yours up a little bit and suddenly you're getting that attention. That's not the game anymore. Everybody's doing a rap. You're going to have a strategy. You need to know what you need to be known for above heating and air. Everybody else is heating and air. You want them to see you differently. And who you want to see differently, you have to clearly define and understand who they are. Next one, cohesive professional branding doubles the likelihood visitors will convert on your website. Conversion rates can increase by up to 96% through emotional storytelling and branding. You see, branding is not just a logo. It's not just this mascot on the side of your truck. It has to have substance. You need to have a story that you're putting out there that people will remember and they'll know you for. And most importantly, it means something to them. They see you coming into their lives because you have something that fits well with what they need at an emotional level. My art director was running the stats on Google paid ads, and he did a $10,000 per month advertising on Google LSAs, and it was only yielding about $65,000 worth of revenue. Okay, spent $10,000, got $65,000 worth of work. He rebranded. In the very first month they measured this, he spent $10,000. But instead of getting $65,000 worth of business, he got $122,000 worth of business. Same marketing budget, same ad strategy, everything. He just rebranded and positioned himself as something better than everybody else. Guys, it's time to wake up. Professional entrepreneurs invest in themselves. They understand a strategy. They are prepared before they go into battle. And they've already won up here. Keeping your head down and working hard towards a goal is fine, but you need to be clear on what that goal is, and you need to have done your homework and know exactly where the opportunities are in your market, what your competitors are doing wrong, and what you can do right to stand out and attract the high-end customers, the experience-based customers, not the everyday heating and air, you're all the same to me type of customers where it just boils down to price. If you're having the price conversation too much, this is probably why. Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. Get this fixed. Don't just make it pretty. Give them a reason to call you. Talk to you later.